You know, the whole adage that models are dumb, it comes from somewhere, by the way. It's and dumb because not because it's stupid. It's just that you don't realize the significance of a moment until later on, and I think I'm that way.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 series Jaipur Literature Festival, where, of course, there are the more open spaces, and then there's the intimacy of a conversation, which is what we're trying to capture here at Jaipur Bytes, the Jaipur Literature Festival podcast. And we have the absolutely incredible Kelly Dorji to kick off proceedings, so to speak. Kelly, of course, knows all about fashion and, as you can see, dressed quite appropriately. But we shall keep the fashion for later. For now, of course, it's the hidden rainbow that we're trying to see the various colors of. New innings off the ramp and on the writing table, Kelly?
Incidentally, I'm not a full-fledged author. I wrote a adult coloring book that all my friends bought for their children, and I'm trying to get the point across that this is a subtle introduction to Buddhism and spirituality, how I accept it, how I know it. So it includes everything from Buddhist didactic knowledge to words of my guru Sri Sri Ravi Shankar to even stories from the Bhagavad Gita.
Wonderful.
So it's just a comprehensive book which will entertain you. And as you know, coloring is a form of therapy. So I wrote that book and I got sick in order to heal you. So please,
I buy it. It really did take something out of you. So that's wonderful. But colors are something you're quite familiar with, not just the physical aspect of it, but the metaphysical and the more, what should we say, the roundabout aspect for it, because the fashion life was a very colorful one when you were around, Kelly.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were alluding to all the magic mushrooms, but...
Oh, well.
The fashion industry, yes, wonderful time. My brat days, and I'm very sorry if there's anybody over here who remembers, but we did have a wonderful time.
In 1997, if memory serves, there was an India Today article that said, people with exotic looks are taking over. There was at number 2 a certain Kelly Dorji, a Bhutanese model who won the Bombay Dyeing Glad Rags Manhunt. Reality shows before reality shows were a thing.
Yeah, incidental. My whole idea was just to avoid dancing around trees. And that was my take on joining the Indian film industry. And though I had friends like actors like Bobby Deol who were doing it, we would always make fun of him and say, no chance, I don't want to be like you. But he kept pressuring me. And to hide away from that, I tried to excel in fashion and make a name for myself. Inadvertently making a name for myself. And that worked out quite well because I wasn't being accepted into the mainstream because I was Asian looking. Today is quite a different story, and it's quite nice to see that. But in those days, I was the only Asian face on the market in this entire country. And for advertisers, the trust was only in a white face or a known Indian celebrity.
Sure.
So to break into that mold, I had to make a name for myself. And I did that through fashion. And once having done it through fashion, I started getting calls for press campaigns and then television, and then eventually films.
When did you become aware of the fact that what was looking at you when you looked into the mirror was good enough for a profession?
Oh, I'm a very conceited boy. No, when I was about 15 years old, a lady visited my country. She was a contact of my mother's. I did not know this at the time, but she was the live-in girlfriend of the late, great Hunter S. Thompson. the gonzo journalist.
Wow.
And he gifted her, a few years after that, they broke up, and he gifted her the book Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which she turned into a film.
Oh, yeah.
Till today, Laila and I are very, very close friends. But I always joke about how my mother chased her out of the house because she wanted to take me away and make me the Calvin Klein model. I was about 14 at the time, yeah. So she always laughs about that. And she lives in LA. She's starting a play dedicated to Hunter's life in Las Vegas as a big, big show. So I wish her all the best for that.
How sorely we need that. Hunter S. Thompson, if you haven't read, start with a book called Hell's Angels, which was basically him living with a motorcycle gang and how difficult it was. Gonzo journalism is basically journalism that puts the human perspective, the personal perspective in. It's incredible. And of course, an older lady asking you to run away with her even more. So I can imagine the seduction, but
No, Suresh. I think she meant well.
no, I meant seduction in a purely platonic way, but there was also then, the success that that came in with being at the cusp of when Indian fashion was sort of finding itself. This was the time when Tarun Tahiliani was experimenting. This was the time when Rohit Bal was, discovering his flamboyance. And this was the time when India had supermodels.
Yes, we were all a troop of monkeys in a common circus. Everybody knew each other. We traveled in luxury from Bombay to Calcutta to Delhi to Chennai, Jaipur, Kerala. We spent a lot of time with each other, and we performed. We performed for a handful of choreographers, from Sangeeta Chopra to Lubna Adams to Hemant Trivedi and a few others. But the designers were superstars because we needed to encourage the designers to come out and kick Indian fashion, kickstart Indian fashion.
Sure.
So the Delhi designers were fantastic. Gudda, Rohit Bal, Tarun Tahiliani, they're all so wonderful. And then they, in turn, gave birth to such wonderful other designers. Of course, I should mention over here Ritu Kumar, because I think Ritu Kumar is probably the first name, because she embodied production to creativity, and I think that's important.
It was said that you could actually wear Ritu Kumar's garments inside out and they'd still be the same. That was the level of production there was.
Flamboyant lady, so magnetic. Everybody was just wanted to be there for her, and we would say, "Come on, Ritu, make some clothes for us."
And she would. The thing was that she would, wouldn't she?
Yeah, she's so nice.
And there was, check out the list of people that there was Inder Sudan, who was before you on the Gladrads manhunt. There was Milind Soman. There was Madhu Sapre. There was Lara Datta. Aishwarya Rai, I think, was starting out when you were ruling the RAM, so to speak.
Aishwarya, Sushmita and me, we started together. We did our first show together in Calcutta. It was for Pantaloons, I think. And both, we needed eyeglasses. And in those days, we didn't have money to buy contact lenses. So Sushmita and me would both walk down the ramp like that. It was funny because we almost fell off the stage.
But it must have been great, no? Because this was the start of something new, so to speak. And were you aware of the fact that you were literally actually part of fashion history at that point of time?
Not at all. Not at all. The whole adage that models are dumb, it comes from somewhere, by the way. It's... and dumb not because it's stupid, it's just that you don't realize the significance of a moment until later on. And I think I'm that way.
You could probably be forgiven for that because you were too busy partying with your fellow models, isn't it?
Living history, right?
Living quite literally, because there were some wild stories about some wild parties at about that point of time. But you were a fraternity, weren't you?
Let me tell you, wild, yes, but clean. The reason being... You were there? Clean, because we were like a traveling circus group, as I said, and we all knew each other. We knew we had to look out for each other, and we'd be in the next city together. So we didn't mess about. And we always look out for each other and have a show have some dinner, have a couple of drinks, go and jump into the swimming pool, and then let the hotel staff fish you out. So that was our idea of fun. Just create chaos until about 2, 3 in the morning, go back to our rooms, shower, change, hit the 6 o'clock flight to some other city, go and rest up for an hour, then get dragged down for fittings, and then get told, okay, you've had one too many club sandwiches, so your measurements have gone up by half an inch, and then you're insulted, and then you're carted off to rehearsals, and then go and rest up, and then again do the show the same night. Then you're in Chennai the next night. So every night is like a circus.
Which is what I was actually about to come to, the fact that they were less forgiving times. Inclusivity wasn't even a name. Zero size was something that was de rigueur. You had to be. Insults. I still remember being shocked out of my wits when I was at a rehearsal for a stage because they weren't very nice, those choreographers, to the models when you were practicing, isn't it, Kelly?
Yes, it's profanities of the day. But it's okay. In one ear, out the other. We know it was done out of love and frustration just to get things done in a very short amount of time. So boot camp.
But you never seemed you never seemed pressured. None of the, nor Milind, nor Madhu, nor you, Niketan. None of you guys seem to have taken it, to heart. It was all taken in your stride. And was there ever pressure? I mean, did you feel any kind of pressure?
Well, it was actually a really wonderful designer, Raghuvendra Rathod, who's actually from here, right?
Yeah.
Jodhpur, sorry.
Jodhpur.
And he was the one, who offered me some very, very kind advice after one show because I was a bit intimidated. I was feeling a bit nervous about getting into a more serious show, which was like a haute couture, Mm-hmm. And I think it was for some of his clothes. And he was telling me, Kelly, just relax. Your attitude has to speak for the clothes that you're wearing. So you have to get into the right mood for that. And that's when I realized that, we are not big personalities trying to let the clothes complement us. We are models. We are supposed to be a pick of a particular crop intended to make the clothes look good. The stars are the clothes or whatever you're marketing. So from then on, I kept that professional approach. And I always try to remember that I'm here to make whatever I'm advertising look good. I am secondary to the product.
I think, and that's the thing, no? The primacy of the product, I think, is something that we need to underline just a little more nowadays. But of necessity, you learned on the job because there was no internet. There was no, the Milan Fashion Week had to be seen either on magazine covers or if you were in Milan. So
yes, or when they launched Fashion TV in India.
Oh, FTV, yes. For totally different purposes for a lot of people.
Yes, I think news viewership went down 60%.
I think there is a statistic.
Yes.
But of course, now there is a lot of exposure. The democratization of information has meant that at the click of a button, you can see all the trends that are happening. You've, I'm sure, been in touch with the current world of fashion, so to speak. There is a lot of pressure, isn't there?
There is a group chat on my phone with every single model that I worked with through the late 90s and the mid 2000s. And till today, we are a close-knit group of friends, and we try to have reunions every year. And it's strange because this is a profession which is so impersonal. And today, when we meet almost every good-looking person in a room, we don't even have to ask them what they do because they are a model somewhere,
Sure.
And you often wonder how, why, where. But I'm very grateful for this group of friends. They range from models who came in from New Zealand to who now live in Italy, like Madhu and all, and Taya in Switzerland, and so many others in America, in the UK, and all over the world, and me in Bhutan. And yet, every year we endeavor to try to get together In fact, we did one reunion here in Delhi. And during these reunions, we get in our designers, photographers, makeup artists, sound people who used to work on sound with us. And it's so nice to keep in touch with all these people.
And I think it was that whole thing about, creating something new, wasn't it? You were, of course, also the clothes horse, if you'll forgive the expression, to literally the first crop of designers who truly understood what Indian fashion could be. In fact, you're one of the few who I've spoken to who have actually also worked for one of the most underrated designers that we have, which is Shahab Durazi. From the Rohit Bal, Shahab Durazi, Ritu Kumars of the world to the current crop of designers, do you see a difference? Maybe in approach, in expression? Do you see a difference? What are your views?
No. They're all classic. They're all classic. Every designer in India is of very good breeding because the system of education and the foundations in their craft has been very solid. And I really compliment the Indian fashion industry for that. There's something so institutional in the sense of belonging that you can literally trace back all the designers today to one or two institutes or to a handful of designers.
Sure.
And becoming prodigies. You mentioned Shahab Durazi, who is an absolute god of guts.
Couldn't agree more.
Of flamboyance, of royalty, of very, very stately style Arjun Khanna. Of another stately designer, but elegant flows and just standing in his clothes makes you look like you're on the cover of Vogue as Raghu. And so many other designers. Rohit Bal's flowy shirts, his Jodhpurs, they were something else, I remember taking them to Jodhpur and wearing them there and feeling like I was lost in time, and that was really something. Also, modern designers, if I may say,
sure, please,
are also they're keeping up with the times, but their approach, their professionalism, their ideas are very much the same.
You mentioned Shahab Durazi and Arjun Khanna. These are two people who were completely focused on clothes. They didn't really, there was no marketing, there was no showstopper. It was all about models. And as you said, the focus was completely and absolutely laser focused on clothes. It'd be absolutely spectacular to know what you think about the fact that today a lot of the designers are also using celebrity as a bit of a shoulder to fire off their designs from. And sometimes one feels that, is it because there's not enough confidence in their clothes, or is it because it is a necessity to market? It'd be lovely to know what you feel.
When I first began modeling for a print media, it was a little bit after I started as a ramp model. And I heard that I'm doing a suitings campaign for... Oh God, I can't even remember the name. VHM suitings or something like that.
Okay.
And Shailendra Singh, the advertiser, told me, "Oh, please go meet the designer." So I went and met the designer in a 6x6 hovel in Bandra, where his tailor was furiously at it, and he kept saying, "Oh, Master G, yeah, Master," and it was none other than Manish Malhotra. So we all grew from somewhere. And we all understand the humility of where we come from, and we maintain that humility. But in continuing with that humility, we've come into a really big bad world of influencer marketing. It's just unlimited. You could be the most deserving person in the world, but the person standing next to you, who could be a 12-year-old influencer with like 15 million followers, is instantly recognized and ushered into the room before you. So I think maintaining humility is part of keeping your sanity. So we must do that. And to answer your question, it's different, The designers today, they're giving into a bigger market of using influencers or star power to market their clothes, because the media is so much more vast and so much more far-reaching. So it cannot be blamed. We just have to keep an eye on it and not let it get too much out of control.
And finally, a profession that's sort of seen quite close to decadence and the expression of it to the spirituality of Buddhism. You seem to be straddling two boats quite. How's that happening?
Gave up on fashion a long time ago, so I just wear my national dress. So no one can accuse me of being dressed badly. I hope you all like this. Going from fashion into the movies, I went from wearing wonderful designer clothes to actually going to the master G of a film and saying, whatever you're making for me, make it as outrageous as possible. Because by then, I'm a bad guy in the movies, and my fan base are people who I probably will never even meet on the most part. A rickshaw-wala driver's cousin who works in a field somewhere and probably murdered someone somewhere, And I'm an inspiration to that person because I play the bad guy. And everywhere I went to promote a film, especially, I'm a Telugu actor, by the way, and I would go to remote parts of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana to promote my films, and I would have people lift my hands to beat themselves with. And it opened up a whole new world to me. So I told, and they're dressed gaudily, like you would not believe the clothes that they would wear. So I go to my Master G, every director leaves it up to me, how I dress. And I go to the Master G and I said, make my dress outrageous. So if you ever watch any of my South Indian films, you will cringe, if not vomit, when you see what I'm wearing. But trust me, that's not me. I'm catering to an audience.
And catering to an audience has been something that he's become a bit of a past master at, from the big bad worlds of film to the glamorous world of the runway to now coloring books. The colorful life of Kelly Dorji encapsulated in hopefully what will be a conversation that you will like. If you do, remember the comment section is open. It'll be absolutely spectacular to have you say things about what we do. Jaipur Bytes, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Series Jaipur Literature Festival. Kelly Dorji, this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for being so generous with your thoughts.
Thank you all.
And you, thank you for watching. Remember the hashtags, remember the opinions. Everyone's got two of them. Why not one for us? Thank you for watching.